What is going on, everybody, on this wild Monday morning? The Ripperonis to Walmart is racist. Hashtag never forget 12626. It is true. Just trying to, just, a little less repetitive, a little less, just a little less.
Hey, some of us hate change. You can't change stuff just suddenly. You need to issue a public announcement. Ease us into it over time. Come on.
Look,
you know better.
It's been brewing for a while. The intro needed a change, but I didn't really know. Like, the problem with the memes is they get old, and I don't have Benny Johnson money, so I can't just have a new intro every single day. But I will cycle it in, cycle it out. I'm not. It's not gonna be the forever intro, but just something to switch it up a little bit. There's some of the memes in the old intro a little outdated. Yeah. Just wait till you see how much work I do when my wife's on vacation. She goes on vacation Friday. That's like a license.
You're gonna do
That's
nothing but work.
I'm going to work.
Be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to be working 20 hours a day. I'm going to love it. I'm going to have, I hired somebody to come help around the house so I can just work, and it'll be good.
That's so funny. Just how can I maximize my time working?
Yeah.
This is good. I mean, you work really hard. You love what you do. Very funny, though.
Well, I can't work I can't work all night long. When my wife's here, I have to be a husband.
And try to spend time with her or something. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I still have the dogs to take care of and stuff like that. And, I feel like
suddenly your wife is going to start being invited on vacations or sent on vacations by you a lot more.
No.
It's going to be once every 3 months. You're like, honey, I got this crazy points promotion. Please, for a week and a half, go somewhere else.
I think I have $2,000 to American Airlines. So I'm hoping I could use that, but that only gets you there. It doesn't really pay for anything once you're there. So we'll see.
It's not bad though. I mean, I feel like I want to become an expert on how to use credit card points, because some people are really good and get all kinds of stuff with them.
Yeah. Well, I do have a lot because I pay all of your guys' salary on my credit card.
Yeah.
So I rack up. Sometimes I just use it on Amazon. So it's just hooked up to Amazon. I can just click a button and pay with points. But sometimes I have $1,000 in a month, depending on how you guys' your guys' payroll comes in. So yeah, I could take points or whatever. I've
known people to get new washer dryers with their points. I mean, they when you think about it that way, it's I earn these points anyways if I have the right kind of card, and they could eventually get me some big ticket item that I don't have to pay cash for. Ideal.
They're going. The points thing is kind of going by the wayside these days.
Tell me that. Oh, I'm always 27 minutes behind all cool trends.
Yeah, the golden era of credit card points was in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s.
I thought it was early 2000s, but
yeah. SoCo Prepper says in a new intro fund. Hey, I appreciate that. I don't know if that's roasting the new intro and you want a new intro, or if you want, I'm not sure if that's pro or con, but we'll take the upgrade. Need channel upgrades, put your money where your mouth is. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to have some new emojis. I'm going to have Ben working on some new emojis for chat because we haven't done that in forever. And I'm going to rearrange my set a little bit while the wife is gone.
I'm going to rearrange my set while your wife is gone. We'll have a whole day where it looks like
you have a whole empty shelf there. It's kind of embarrassing.
I know. It's just, I can't decide what to do with it. Also, I'm kind of thinking I might ditch the bookshelf. The plant, there's not a lot of natural light in this studio, and it gets cold. So the plant was suffering, and I felt like at a certain point, it had done it. It's not a fake plant, it's real. And
these are fake, and they, you can kind of, I don't know.
That one was real, and it was having a hard time.
Yeah. I had some plants down here, but my cat kept eating them. So yeah, while she's gone, I have a plan for like a whole new background. Like this wasn't really a hit, what I have
not
here.
Too many changes. Come on, don't be crazy. Incremental changes.
Yeah, I mean, if I go through with building the new studio, then I'll just do it. Like I want to do like wood paneling, kind of make it look a little bit like I like the way Matt Walsh's looks and stuff like that. Nathan says, I use Amazon points to buy a really nice smoker. Yeah. I mean, I rack them up with Amazon points, and then it makes me not feel bad like buying something that I want versus something I need.
The point, like your treat yourself money, you get fun things with your points. I like that.
But I can only use them for work. So I can't use credit card points for like a personal expense.
But as we know, you love working. So really, what's the difference?
Yeah, I did. I'm going to do some card openings next month while my wife is gone. Some Pokemon card openings. I used to do them a long time ago. And so I ordered some Pokemon. I use points for that because it's like, it's a work expense. So, you know, that kind of stuff is always fun. Jeremy wants to do everything but make better and more energetic content. Look, I think our energy level is pretty good for a Monday. You know, some of us worked all day yesterday. And then I had a late night. We go out with our only surviving grandparents. Oh no, we actually have the other grandparents too, but these grandparents, these I forget about them. These that's
so horrible. Our only surviving ones. I mean, the other ones are there, but we've decided they're not surviving.
Well,
they're just thriving.
All of my grandparents are dead and have been dead for 20 years. So I don't really view my wife's grandparents as my grandparents.
Oh,
they're you know what I mean? Like,
I understand.
Yeah. And but we went out with kind of the set of grandparents last night that will party. Like they're in their late 80s. And we were out, we watched the Super Bowl and at a bar, and it was a long night. So I'm a little low energy. It was one of those nights where like I had pizza for dinner. And then we were there so long, I had more pizza. Like I ate my leftovers while I was sitting there. It was it was kind of a long night.
You were raging with your wife's grandparents. I love it.
Right. We were. Yeah.
Did you say you watched the Super Bowl? I thought that wasn't yet.
I'm sorry, the championship game. You're right.
I'm good at sports, and I know that. But okay, this should be an EscherCast topic. It's Patriots Seahawks. How are you feeling?
It's what I figured it would be. No surprises.
Broncos. I kept hearing the Broncos were going to get in. I don't know what that
they lost their starting quarterback though going into the game, but the Broncos. I predict we're going to go away from this whole new era of analytics football after this year because I think analytics ruined football.
Oh,
perfect example. Yesterday, the Broncos have a chip shot field goal from the 20-yard line to go up 10-0 in the first quarter. By the time halftime's over, the weather has impacted the game so badly that neither team moves the ball and they lose 10-7. You know, so you take that chip shot field goal, you know, the rest of the game plays out how it plays out. You got to take the points there. So many times this year, like the Green Bay Packers, my team, you know, my wife bought me this stress ball, like, because I was like screaming about like, take the fucking points. There's so many times that they don't take the points and they're like, well, analytics says, and it's like, yeah, well, how's analytics treating you now? Like, I can't say for sure the Broncos would have won, but they lost 10-7 and it could have been, the Broncos definitely would have had at least 10 points. They missed
is my last sports question. I don't want to overwhelm the audience with our fantastic sports talk. Do you think that analytics works better for some sports than others? I mean, I feel like
it works great in baseball.
Yeah, I was gonna say baseball. It's like it changed the game in a positive way.
Yeah, baseball is the best example of where analytics is great. Football, you gotta like momentum and like there are lots of other elements where like a coach in the NFL needs to understand, hey, I have my backup quarterback in here. We have we got lucky and we scored a touchdown right away. we should, I know analytics says we should go.
Uh-oh, did Big Baseball get you or did it get me?
Yeah, big analytics got me. When you're up when you're up 7-0, you have a chance to go up 10-0 with your backup quarterback in the most important game of the last 20 years for the Broncos. You got to take that. I don't care what analytics says. You kick the field goal.
It's like you need to be able to tell when the analytics is helpful versus when it's time to, just pay attention to what's going on the field.
Yeah. So they're putting liberals in ovens. I don't know if you knew this. CNN just hosted this guy. I wonder if it's going to come out that he is a troll.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was wondering. This happened to me all weekend long, where I would see posts or like people being like, "This is from liberal TikTok," and some of them I believe, and some of them I'm like, "Surely this is someone faking it." This doesn't even. It seems so outrageous. You should probably play the clip.
Yeah, Nathan Brindley says, "Need a coffee recommendation? Just finished the apple strudel and blackberry cream. Looking for 2 nice but different flavors." Okay, well, if you want to go really bold, you try the tiger's blood.
I was going to say, I know it's going to be tiger's blood. I know that's the
strawberry, watermelon. It's crazy, and coconut. But if you want to go safe but new, our butterscotch toffee sells really, really good, and the gingerbread sells really, really good. Ooh. So, but I would get one sweet, one savory. So don't get the butterscotch and the gingerbread. Try like strawberries and cream is a really good seller, or the tiger's blood if you want to be a crazy man. But there you go. That's a good recommendation. So here's this video.
I understand that, but they take people to Fort Snelling here, which literally was built as a concentration camp, and Alligator Alcatraz, which I think we can all agree is a concentration camp. Not saying they're Dachau. I'm not saying they're putting people in ovens yet, but these are concentration camps.
Okay. I
don't need to argue with you about that.
Yeah.
I think he's a troll.
I don't know. I think he is like sort of serious. It's hard to, what is this person's name? Do we know?
It's not Phil McCracken. It's probably.
I don't think so. It's Jamie Schwendel. Is that what it says at the bottom?
I can't see. Where are you seeing
scroll
that?
Back a little bit. If you look at the the ticker tape at the bottom and you scroll to
here, Kohner Moon Palace Books. Jamie Schwesnadel. Well, if he owns a bookstore, he's probably a lib.
But also, you could send in a fake bio and a TV booker might get you. That's why I feel like I have to No, it says this is real.
Okay, there you go.
And then he has a wife named Angela. I wouldn't have guessed wife.
Yeah, me either.
They were named Midwest Independent Bookseller of the Year in 2020 for their, quote, radically welcoming generosity of spirit and commitment to social justice.
They didn't sell any books.
Bookstores are how crazy SJWs take root in small towns. And I wish conservatives would start, I know I say this about education, send your young conservative children to become teachers. Also start funding independent bookstores because they matter.
Coffee shops too. Independent bookstores and coffee shops and bakeries. That's where these guys get a foothold. They have little restaurants, and I'm not saying it has to be a conservative restaurant, but I'm saying have a restaurant. Yeah, just have a neutral bookstore. We have a bookstore like that. My wife's in book club there. I look at the lady that owns it, and it's not a stretch.
You're a little nervous.
I'm not nervous because my wife knows, but I look at all the women in book club there, and I'm like, okay, and
all
there's no way she makes money.
Around me, or at least a lot of them are owned by open Christians. They just sell coffee, but you'll be hanging out there waiting and realize there's a Bible verse on the wall, amongst a million other things.
I like that.
It's pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they it's fine, but the other thing is you have to be, the thing with conservatives, you have here's what I want to do is I want to open a card shop that isn't owned by a liberal.
Whoa.
Magic the Gathering.
Hold on, let's not get crazy
gaming.
Here.
Literally every shop's owned by a raging liberal.
Yeah. Every time I see a game, a board, because I have younger siblings that love board games, and sometimes we'll be walking around small towns, and I want to take them into the board game shop, and you'll see the flag or the stickers, and you're like, I don't want to go in here. I don't know why you got to co-opt this part of culture, but
I actually talked to my wife about this yesterday. I was like, here, I did the math. It's not going to make any money. That's the thing. Conservatives, they're well, I'm not going to open this book. Like nobody's open. No bookstore is making money in 2026. It's
No.
like a labor of love. It's like a, hey, I live upstairs and this pays my rent kind of thing.
Sure.
Like I want to like open a magic store, a Pokemon store, and like just have it not be gay. You know, like no bullshit, no SJW bullshit, no using the store to organize your ICE protests, all this shit. Like, I don't care what you vote, how you vote, everyone's welcome here, but we're also not going to be talking politics. There's going to be a sign on the door. No
Right.
politics, you know? And I told her yesterday, you know, if I do this, it's not going to make any money. But I can probably make sure it's not a cash drain.
Yeah.
Because I
and
have
it
my
would give you like a foothold in your community in a way. Like that
Well,
costs
yeah.
money, but also it's good. I have this whole thing where I like when couples, or at least like wives of men who have other jobs, have like what I dub Hallmark careers, like
Yeah.
running the town bakery or bookstore or you know, board card and board game shop. I think this is good. I think it's good for culture.
Yeah, it's not dissimilar than like, you know, what Tim tries to do with skateboarding. I'm like, hey, look, I'll open up a store. I have the luxury of having a YouTube channel with a large audience, so I'm sure I could get people in the store. And also I could turn the store into content, which would, you know what I mean? Like if the store rents $3,000 a month, I could do 6 videos a month and probably pay the rent.
Yeah.
And like, but it would at least be a place where people could go that is not, you know, woke trash garbage. Maybe I'll just do that this summer. I'm kind of getting bored, you know.
This
so maybe
is
I'll
so
just do that.
exciting. I want
Yeah,
to
it'll be
open a
like Bob's
Hallmark.
Burgers. Yeah.
I love it. I'm excited.
Makes no money. The issue is I'd have to open it up with like a silent partner because I don't think Wizards of the Coast would sell me product, but everyone else would. So it would be interesting, but the RC shops don't have a problem with wokeness. Most of the people I find at RC shops are apolitical. You know, so it's you know, Jeremy, most played Steam game is Card Shop Simulator. That's not true. I played Clara Obscura, Expedition 33, way more. So the people don't know this, but like I've been involved. I used to have like a Magic YouTube channel with 100,000 subscribers. Like I played Magic a long time.
He's not new to this
Yeah,
game,
I understand the business. I understand the margins. I understand the pricing. Like it would be a very easy business to run for me, but it would not make any money. If I made $500 in a month, that would probably be a lot. So that would be kind of the problem. Ideally, I could open it on my property, and then it's like,
but then
I
people
don't
come to
have
your house. That's the downside.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's go. Let's start talking about. I guess we have to talk a little bit about the shooting.
Okay.
You know, based on everything that you've consumed on this shooting, where's your are you on Whatnot? I am on Whatnot. That's where I bought that Lethal Enforcers game that sat behind me forever. I don't know if it's still there.
You're on a website called Whatnot. That's adorable. What a fun name.
Yeah, it's just like it's like eBay but live auctions. And so you do
fantastic.
And it's mostly gaming stuff on there. But you can get some good deals if you're just chilling and you can, you know, watch and stuff. But the shooting is a little bit of old news, so I don't want to spend the whole show on it. Wait, Jeremy's correct on football. Teams going for it on 4th down and 1 or 2 yards is okay, but now teams are needing 4 or 5 yards and going for it. Yeah, I mean, the Packers went for it on our own fucking 30-yard line. That's stupid. And they're like, but analytics. I'm like, no, just punt the ball. Anyway,
I love that we're on a sports podcast. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would make it to the sports podcast realm, but here I am.
Here you are. So we have, you know, the shooting that happened Saturday morning. I don't want to.
Well, it's like the
so what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, well, it's like the shooting and then all of the ripple impact, right? And I think that's kind of where we are today. So obviously, I've seen the video. I know there's a lot of debate on armed, not armed, cell phone, gun, like the order of stuff. I don't feel comfortable like speculating just because I think it adds to kind of crazy rhetoric.
Yeah.
You know, and you and I talk about this a lot, especially in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. I'm not going to celebrate the loss of life. I'm sad for this man's family. I'm sad for people who know him. Like, we don't want this to be normal in America. The consistent basic fact that I have seen is that he went to this protest and confronted an ICE officer. That seems like a terrible move to me. That seems like a bad idea, no matter where you are politically. Confronting a federal officer during, like, while they are carrying out some sort of order or operation seems like a risk you should never take. It's not worth it, protest or advocate for what you believe in other ways. The fallout after the shooting is interesting to me because on the one hand, we're seeing stuff like you got pulled up, Tom Homan going to Minnesota at the request of Donald Trump. He's the border czar. He received the Presidential Medal of Freedom under Obama for his work securing the border. And he's a cool guy from what I can tell. And to me, that indicates there might be some shifting at Department of Homeland Security. But then you're also seeing this shooting be immediately weaponized by Democrats for a potential government shutdown. So as much as people are saying like civil war or, this is the end of whatever, hot debate, it seems like it almost feels disingenuous that there are Democrats being like, actually, now we can't fund ICE because conveniently, when we want to close the government, this thing has occurred.
Right. Well, I won't be such a wimp.
Wimp? What do you mean?
Good, definitely a clean shoot, no question about it. But you would like it to be a little cleaner. I think basically what the generally accepted chain of events is that, the gun, it looks like a gun well known for having negligent discharges, accidentally firing. Right. It looks like when the ICE officer is disarming the man, there is an ND, which causes the officers to then shoot the suspect. There's been a million slow motion angles at it. You can see there's one where he's very clearly, even if he's not reaching for his gun, if you're an officer and you see this motion and then you have to assume the worst. Something in your hand like this, and you're like, and after they yelled gun, 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 you're going to get shot. So, whether it was the negligent discharge or the reach, it's a good shoot. Just like Renee Good, 1,000 bad decisions before this incident would have saved his life. Like, if he goes to that protest, he fights with the cop, he doesn't have a gun on him, he lives to fight another day. He doesn't have to
fight the cop. Like,
I'm saying, even if he does the worst of all of it, as long as he's not armed, he doesn't get shot there. If he doesn't put his hands on I'm going backwards from all his decisions, right? Yeah. He doesn't touch the cop. He doesn't get involved with the cop. He's alive today. He doesn't go in the street and impede traffic and impede a nice operation, arresting a violent criminal. He's alive today. Wheel it back. There's 100 decisions he made before getting shot that would have ensured that he is a life, ensure that he is alive today. The same thing with Renee Good.
Yeah,
every bad decision.
Their deaths were preventable by their own choices.
Yes, right up until if she just gets out of the car, if she doesn't use her car as a weapon, if she doesn't go as her lesbian lover told her, she is alive today. So, to me, there is really no conversation to have about whether or not the ICE agents acted correctly. They did what they're trained to do, and yes, I wish that. He would have brandished the gun and then they shot him, as opposed to it falling out and then it having an ND and, them doing, because it just would have been easier to defend optically. It was never a question for me whether or not the shoot was good. My question is, my biggest criticism is actually of the Trump administration's verbal handling of this. Kash Patel with an absolute brain dead take saying, you can't bring a gun to a protest. Wrong. You can.
Wait, I cut out. What did you say your criticism of the Trump administration is? Sorry.
Their messaging on it. The Trump administration's messaging should have been, when you're carrying a weapon, you have a higher level of responsibility to de-escalate. This man put his hands on an ICE officer, actively put himself in harm's way, resisted arrest, fought with the officers for several minutes on the ground before ultimately losing his life. It is a tragic situation that was 100% preventable by Mr. Peretti. That is what the message should have been, not what moron Kristi Noem said. Well, he was going, he had multiple magazines and he was looking, he had ill intent.
Yeah.
No. Are you a fucking Democrat? No.
It does feel like they're editorializing. They're reading stuff into it because they're trying to get ahead of the narrative. But when you just speak simply and based on the facts, I think it's a stronger defense.
Right. And you don't, this is the same shit they said about Kyle Rittenhouse. Well, he was there with his weapon, so therefore, fucking no. Mm-hmm. No. Like, I have many friends that carry, and almost all of them carry extra magazines. Does that mean they're a criminal? No, that just means they're a good planner. Like,
right.
This whole thing, like, and MAGA Twitter's doing it. Like that Amy's account. Well, he was carrying between 30 and 51 rounds. So fucking what?
I feel like every Second Amendment, I'm trying to find it right now. The NRA put out a statement. Every Second Amendment person is like, hold on, you can carry as many rounds as you want to, as far as we're concerned. Right.
It's and this is everybody in the Trump administration. Kash Patel, Kristi Noem, the diehards on X. Like, no, you do not get to ascribe criminal behavior because a man was legally carrying his gun. Let me also be clear about that's like when the Democrats say, well, he was carrying an assault rifle. They're doing the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a CCW, though, concealed carry weapon license, or CCL, whatever the particular state says, you are legally carrying a firearm as long as you are carrying your ID and your license, which he was not. So let's first of all say he had a license, but he was not legally carrying. Second of all, when you have a conceal and carry license, you are legally carrying up until the moment you are in the commission of a crime. Once he starts pushing ICE officers, he is no longer legally carrying that firearm. So he's got two situations where people are like, well, he had a license, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. If you don't have your license on you, you are not legally carrying that firearm. If you are committing a crime, you are no longer legally carrying that firearm. So let's get that out of the way. And then when you have, like, again, why is the Trump administration saying that? Why didn't he have his ID? He purposely didn't bring his ID. Everyone knows that. Mm-hmm. But like this is cut and dry. I would say, imagine Jeremy's reaction when there isn't a clean shoot. He will call for WND, the end of deportations. What? I don't get it. Is it, I mean, look, this is called having principles. You don't get to say that this guy was a criminal because he had a gun on him. That's what the Democrats do. The shoot was clean. I've never said even for a second it wasn't. I wish it were cleaner, but it is what it is. Kash Patel going on TV and saying you can't carry a gun and go to a protest is just a lie. And they're trying to smear this guy like, oh, well, and the reason people are not, the reason people have the reaction to my take on this that they do is like, well, I would, if they have a negative reaction to that, I would just ask you to think of all the people on the right that they've said this about for years.
Yeah.
He was carrying a gun. What was he going to do? No, fucking no. He gets to carry the gun, you know?
He gets to carry the gun. I think it's, in some ways, it reminds me of when we talk about like the filibuster, right? Like, yeah, maybe in the moment, getting rid of the filibuster potentially could benefit Republicans, but you have to think about these things long term. I don't want any sort of implication that there should be restrictions on the Second Amendment. But we can acknowledge that there are times that legal gun owners are doing things that they are not supposed to be doing. Not everyone who has the permit to carry a gun acts lawfully 100% of the time. That's just common sense. In this case, like we've talked about, the tendency for protesters at these events is to intentionally confront law enforcement in a way that they know is dangerous. And they do it anyways because largely because Minneapolis is a radicalized population, not everyone, but the people doing these things. And they feel as though they are either entitled to whatever sort of justice they think they are carrying out, or they think that essentially they can become martyrs. And I don't know what Alex Peretti's motivations were in the moments, leading up to his death, but I do think that there is a glamorization in that community, in that social sphere, of physically attacking ICE officers, especially when they are carrying out anything related to deportations.
Yeah, I mean, I think also know that Alex Peretti was a member of this Signal ICE group, and he was deeply involved in stalking ICE agents and getting in confrontations with them. Again, I wish that he had made a different decision that day. If he had not brought his gun, the thing is, a normal person, a normal person who would say, hey, maybe I'm going to get into a scuffle today, you don't bring your gun. Like if I go to a bar, I know if I consume alcohol, I am no longer allowed to carry a gun, so I have to leave it at home. That's a choice you have to make. If you are going out there knowing that you're going to be agitating and you're very likely to get into a physical altercation with police, then you should know, maybe don't carry your gun. Like, because we don't live in a vacuum. He knew what he was doing. He knew when he was escalating and getting involved and getting in the middle with the ICE agent. And yes, he has a right to carry that gun, but we don't live in a vacuum. When you're going to get into a scuffle with police and you're armed, shit can go bad. Like it just does. We don't live. Everybody who has an opinion on this now has seen super slow motion, 20 different angles of this incident. We don't live in that world. Police officers are not living in 30 frames a second. Everything that happened in a split, like in a 10 or 15 second span. Right. And people are now saying, well, it's clear. Well, it's obvious. No, it isn't. Because all they heard was gun, 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 and a gunshot went off. Like,
right.
If this guy had not had his gun, they would not have yelled gun, gun, gun. A gunshot would not have gone off. There wouldn't have been a negligent discharge, and this guy wouldn't have been shot 10 times. It's just, it's bad. Somebody in chat is whining and complaining about a mod. There are no mods in the chat. So I don't know, Cosmos Kramer. If it's because I'm not reading everything you are putting out, maybe that's what, but I don't have mods in chat. This Jeremy really like Card Shop Simulator. Yeah, well, it's because I've had this kind of dream of doing this with a card shop. I know that it won't make money. And I think most people that open card shops kind of know that. Like, they live cheap, they've got roommates, they run a card shop.
Or they have to develop like an online business aside. Like, it's not just the physical location. There's something else going on. Yeah.
Omega says, I carry 2 or 3 guns in my purse with multiple MIGs. Sometimes a jersey reload is faster. Just saying multiple MIGs is basically, yeah, well, we know military. Switching to your secondary is always faster than reloading your main. And again, there's also no indication. So people are like, well, they knew he was disarmed. How did they know that? They didn't know that. They didn't know he didn't have a second gun. In that split second, I don't believe anyone announced that they had disarmed him. How could they have heard anything over the Karens with their whistles? I mean, it's very clear. John Hearn, thank you for becoming a member over on YouTube. Very cool. So now let's move to the bigger story, I think. Because I think the shoot's been kind of beat to death. I think it's lawful but awful. And that's exactly what I said the day of it. This cop should not be standing trial. There should not be, there should not be another Derek Chauvin where he's politically put in jail. It's a clean shoot, a terrible shoot, but it's clean. Was Ashley Babbitt a good shoot? No, she was unarmed and there was no threat of harm. Yeah, again, I would argue that Ashley Babbitt, if I take my partisanry out of it, I think comparing Ashley Babbitt and Alex Peretti is not a 1-to-1 comparison. But I do think I do think that officer panicked in that situation and shot an unarmed person.
Right.
And, I don't think it's the same thing. And I can point to the numerous examples over the weekend of insurgents storming hotels, and none of them got shot.
Right. Also, I know this is a broken argument, but like, it's not happening in every city, right? Like, this is a hotbed for a reason.
By the way, same thing with Ashley Babbitt. I wish she had made different decisions that day.
Yeah.
She got caught up in the mob, in the adrenaline. There was no reason to be storming that building. I wish she had made different decisions. Someone in chat said, don't give a cop a reason to panic and you won't get shot. Exactly. I mean, when you're a part of a group of 50 people trying to smash through a door a cop is meant to be defending, again, we don't live in a vacuum. People are going to panic. People are going to react. And, and I'm not going to blame them for having a human moment. Now, that cop, I don't think they're the same. Force Aim says, the first few bullets, given the circumstances, may be understandable. The extra 7 after unjustified. This is always an argument people have that has been many, many times debunked. Officers are trained to essentially mag dump. They are not trained to take 1, 2, 3, 4 shots and then wait to see if the person, shoots them back. You keep firing until the threat is clearly dispatched. There's no right or wrong number of bullets that cops are legally allowed to fire in those situations.
There's some ongoing criticism of ICE from, I would say, some moderates, but also Democrats who are saying, these officers are not trained well enough. They don't have the training they need. I'm not in ICE training. I think there's a difference, though, between not being well trained and not doing what the public believes because they watch Law and Order SVU cops are supposed to do. I don't think anyone, I bet they are trained. I'm sure it was a terrible moment. I'm sure this officer is going through a lot of stuff right now. But I don't know that this is going to circle back to something else. So like defunding ICE right now is the move, especially if you think that they are not well trained. Like, wouldn't you want them to have money to train? I don't know.
Yeah. Force Aim says, if the Acorn cop, surely y'all know the video, I'm so good, I do, had killed somebody, should he get a pass? No. That cop, no. And again, I understand the circumstances there where somebody had called and said that somebody had a gun in the area. The acorn fell on his tree and he blind fired, not only into his car, but all around. No, I don't think that guy had reasonable reaction to fire because he didn't have a target. He was just firing blindly. So every situation is different. I don't know. You've been a long time chatter, so I don't think you're trying to like gotcha me here. But all three, Ashley Babbitt, the Acorn cop, and Alex Preddy are all individually different scenarios. The Acorn cop not only should be charged, but I believe the city was at minimum sued. I think he was fired for sure. There was a suspect in the back of his vehicle, and he fired rounds through the car. Yeah, don't you remember that video?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, this is a classic. This happened, chat, help me out. Last summer, 2-3 summers ago, an acorn falls on his car and he just starts blindly firing. So an acorn just fell on his car. Definitely doesn't sound like a gunshot at all.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
He's doing tactical rolls.
Shots fired!
Right there. He belongs in prison. What is he shooting at?
I feel like he is trying to hit the car.
Yeah. What is he shooting at?
Is he having some kind of like mental breakdown?
What?
Blarg.
In the car!
They think he's in the car. He's shot through the... Again, absolutely not. This guy should be in prison. Like, clear-cut case, like, no questions asked. And whoever that guy in the car was should sue this guy, sue the department for millions of dollars.
It's hard for me not to look at that and be like, oh, he's trying to come up with a reason to shoot his own car. Like,
right.
that
Yeah,
was bad.
Yeah. Jeremy, for the love of God, watch the Ashley Babbitt. I'm not relitigating Ashley Babbitt. You know, she was trying to get to the police. Again, I'm not making a clear, I said, I wish Ashley Babbitt had made different decisions that day. Again, you know, I'm not going to relitigate Ashley Babbitt in 2026. I would be happy to do it on a different stream. We could go through it, but just not this one. Definitely not a gotcha. Just want to make the point that stressful situations cannot be the only deciding factor. I agree. All the additional context matters, which is why, you know, this guy, absolutely not a clean shoot, should be fired, should be charged with whatever, you know, civil penalties there would be for if I were out there just shooting blindly. A good point made by Bronca in terms of Ashley Babbitt. The officer on the other side of the door was likely tasked with defending that perimeter, regardless of whether or not she or others were armed. True. I mean, again, I don't want to relitigate Ashley Babbitt right now. We can in a different stream or maybe in a different video talk about,
make it like a dedicated thing.
How is this different? And I would bring Bronca on for that. So what do you make of this? What do you think is going to come of the signal chats, which I think is the biggest bombshell from the weekend? So for people that don't know, these signal chats are wildly sophisticated. There appears to be both local and federal funding for them. It's at least alleged that the lieutenant governor, at minimum, was in one of these signal chats. That has not been totally confirmed, but it seems like she
has a history of activism, and that's one of the reasons people think they can confirm the name.
Yeah,
so, I mean, the thing about
her name was in there, just not her full name. And then here they said this, you know, Sky, what do we do? Run. Like they're saying so and so has been outed. Signal's not secure. We're all fucked. They said somewhere in these chats, like, where is this? They said like something, whatever her name was, oh yeah, Flan has been exposed. We're all fucked. Like, if that's who people are saying is this Flanberger or whatever this chick's name is. What I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that, you know, this stuff's just getting funded with our tax dollars. But I think that this is by far the biggest story from the weekend, even bigger than the shooting. That this coordinated level of coordination, you know, and they have shift changes and they have different emojis for saying where they are and what's going on. Like it's actually crazy.
I would hope that someone would do a full breakdown of what's going this. I'm sure people are working on them right now. In part because, not for everybody, probably not this chat, but like if you say signal to someone who's not, you know, particularly technological savvy, is not online, they may not even know what you're talking about. Signal's an encrypted chat. So knowing that like there's a record of it, they're intentionally trying to disguise it. I don't think it's wrong to use Signal or encrypted. I'm not trying to imply that.
We use Signal.
Yeah, Signal's great. I'm not against it at all. The challenge is how quickly who is in charge of investigating this, right? So if you have this list, the scroll, everyone, you can see everyone who's involved, and some people don't use their name on Signal, some people do. If this has been exposed, I assume the FBI has rights because there's evidence that it's happening across state lines, that it's happening on a federal level. But unfortunately, because it's based in Minnesota, my concern would be that the first people who get to investigate this are like Minnesota law enforcement.
Well, Zero Hour Data Republican has exposed some foreign. I think the foreign stuff will now allow for the feds to take over. Data Republican said, you know, that there was foreign funding in there and stuff like that. I mean, how much of this is going to go back to our own government? You know, here, Signalgate donors list available for download. Politicians and foreign leadership possibly confirmed. New resource file directs people with money to a website, Stand With Minnesota, which in turn directs donors to a campaign ran by Tending the Soil on Chuffed, more about tending the soil later. What we know is the campaign is hosted by Chuffed. The first donation came from Johnny Sapatuik, don't really know, a Canada-based community organizer who is part of the Chuffed leadership and specializes in fundraising. He's also likely a central figure in raising money. So yeah, starting to look like foreigners are playing a key role in all of this. That's not all. I've put together a spreadsheet of 4,000 plus other donors and their possible identities. Like, how many times are citizen journalists gonna have to hand the feds literally everything they need?
Feds,
like, are we gonna get any arrests?
Fox News. Like, think of the older generations who are wondering how this happens, but they're not online. Like, you have to put this in front of everybody and break it down as simply as possible, because otherwise it starts to have. And they should pursue every lead. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but if you're trying to wake people up to the fact that this is an organized, coordinated effort that could take place in any city with enough supporters, you need everyone to know what is going on and what tools they're using to achieve this. I mean, you mentioned the emojis, like using the emojis to be like, this is where you go. I think for so many people, when people are like using apps or message boards to say where ICE is, it's sort of a surprise to people who are not chronically online. They don't really know what they're up against. And to that end, you don't know how to stop it or at least thwart it. The money is like a different aspect, but I think the more information the general public has about like, this is coordinated, here's how they do it, here's how they pull it off, the better they are to discourage people from getting involved, and also to be aware of what could happen to their own communities. I mean, I said this a second ago, but Minneapolis has a particularly radicalized population for a lot of reasons that's been building for many years, but they're not the only city like this. I mean, think about Portland and other major things. Keep going.
No, I was saying on that's why you're hitting the nail on the head with the kind of the saying, you can't tell people, you have to show them. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of what this is. Like, when you look at this, who is it? Anna Paulina Luna. She puts this out. And it's like, there's nothing organic about these protests. Look at the level of, planning, coordination, everything, from, I mean, if I start pausing,
it's
foot
not
patrol.
Like they are posting on Facebook being like, I mean, some people do, but it's not like it's just people being like, we're going to rally against ICE. Come meet us at the local library. Like, they are here. They're called community organizers for a reason. This is what they do essentially professionally.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is like a military operation, like a terrorist network. They are extraordinarily well organized. They have illegal license plate databases. Mm-hmm. They have, all of this stuff. Put Peggy Flanagan's in the chat. Media won't report because advertising revenue. The only reason Nick Shirley hit is because YouTube, though it was a travel blog, according to Gemini. Well, I would say Nick Shirley was also, it went pretty viral on X too. Like, Elon Musk shared it.
It's even funnier though if they thought Nick Shirley was a travel vlog.
It was. I mean, they have all these resources down here. I mean, this I think is really important for normies to understand, because this shows it's not, like you said, it's not just Facebook Karens. Mm-hmm. This is well organized, well funded. $500,000 raised minimum that we know of from one source. Many of these dollars are foreign. There's a strong suspicion that they are community, or that the lieutenant governor is in there. There's another member of Minnesota politics that talks about that. I have to grab this. My furnace is out, so I have to take this. So you take over for a second.
I'm going to hold it down here.
Yeah.
I mean, for those of you who watch the show, semi-regularly. Last week, we talked about the ICE protest at Target, where people, I believe in Minnesota, were buying table salt and returning it as some sort of like stick it to ICE. I guess they wanted Target to like make a statement. It wasn't really clear to me. You'd watch the videos and it'd be all these older ladies hanging out, lined up. And I was like, these people are just an excuse to go to Target. There are protests like that. But when you're looking at the stuff that involves confronting police, or in the case of Renee Good, who, I'm going to get the details slightly wrong here, but like joined an anti-ICE group that she found through parents at her child's school that she specifically selected because of its commitment to this kind of activism. You're starting to see how all of the tiny little networks that maybe someone's like, oh, they're just the local socialist club, it doesn't matter, or whatever, ultimately can easily be swept up into a larger organization. And in fact, this is the mindset. They thrive on the bureaucracy and organization. I think that is something we've missed. The laptop, the Excel, PowerPoint generation, these professionals who organize like this also have these side hustles as community organizers. And it matters that that it's not just random groups. And sometimes we talk about, sorry, interrupt whenever you want.
No,
but
go ahead.
Sometimes we talk about why is Antifa, or why are these groups not classified as a terrorist organization? And in some ways it's because rather than be one large organization, we hate ICE everywhere with different branch chapters, they use the fact that there are tiny clubs and groups that have the similar ideals and end goals in every state, and then pass out these types of things. So they are loosely affiliated, which makes it difficult to be like, it's one massive operation until you get documents like this.
Yeah. And this kind of blows it's just a bunch of white ladies getting together out there. That's what they want people to think. Like, these moms are just so outraged that they're out there fighting against the bad guys.
No, it's not some like cute organic PTA group or anything like that. Like, this is something people are doing on purpose and semi-professionally. I mean, when they're talking about money raised, it's not just like to buy whatever protest signs. It's also to pay people to keep these organizations, keep these efforts going.
Now, as we get to the kind of the midway mark here, I want to give you a chance to let the people, big crowd today, almost 15,000 people across all of our various platforms. Let the people know where they can find your content, Hannah Claire, and where they can support your stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm so appreciative that you guys are watching. It makes a huge difference to me. I love being able to be on this show. If you want to find my work, please go to either Rumble, YouTube, or X. Look up Hannah Claire B, like it's written on the screen. It's all one word. That's where you can find my content. I generally do videos on news, cultural analysis. I'm going to put something up about the freak out about the Trump administration baby boom. Although I feel like this shooting really trampled that moment for me, but nonetheless, I'll have it up soon. And you can also, like I said, follow me on X if you want other content or updates there. I'll also be back tomorrow for Estrocast, which is one of the best days of the week. And I hope you guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, but also continue to come back to this because it's just the best 2 hours of the afternoon, let me tell you.
Yeah, we're real glad to be here with all of you. All I ask is that you follow the channel. So if you're watching on the Rumble homepage right now, just click through to the quartering. Make sure you follow the channel. I stream all sorts of unscheduled times. We're live Monday through Thursday, 2 Eastern, 1 Eastern on Fridays. But I also stream for almost 3 hours on this Sunday. So if you're not following, you won't get notified. Same thing on all other platforms. Just make sure you have notifications turned on. And I'm doing a little special push. Both of us are trying to grow our Instagram, so you can follow me if you use Instagram. The Quartering News, one word on Instagram, and it's Hannah Claire. I'm
Hannah Claire .b on Instagram. Someone got there first, which is just a real shame. Instagram has weird rules too about contacting people and being like, "Can I have your username?" So I'm not trying to be aggressive here or get kicked off.
Yeah. The other thing we're really pushing hard, no sponsor for today's show, so you don't have to listen to any ads about this, that, or the other thing. But I would hope I can convince 5 of you to support us in one of 2 ways, either by joining Rumble Premium, which is linked in the description, rumble.com/the-quartering/premium. That means you get no ads on Rumble, you support Rumble, and you support us directly. That's the number 1 way to support us. or by becoming a member. Obviously, like on YouTube helps too, but on thequartering.com, if you go to thequartering.com, you can click this join now button on the top. If you buy us a beer, it's $5 a month. You get access to our members only Discord. So that means you can message me back and forth directly. I'm starting a World of Warcraft guild in the members area. I'm going to start playing World of Warcraft with my wife is on vacation, so we'll be able to play video games together. Finally, I know I've been promising that for a long time. But yeah, I mean, it goes directly to the show. Really, really hope 5 of you will take the plunge today and support us there. It helps immensely. It really does add up. And I saw a nice couple of people joined over the weekend, and I want to thank you guys for that. And this one, go to thequartering.com, switch join. You get the private Discord access to all of us are in there. We've got some exclusive sponsor discounts. You can directly chat with me. We can do some Q&A sessions in the Discord, member badge on streams, all sorts of stuff like that. So please do check that out. Let's see. This other stream on here, Rumble host says 1K views. Let's get to 200 subs and gets 200 subs. Well, yeah, I mean, hey, I would never demand people pay me money for our show. It'll always remain free. But the people that choose to back us are extremely helpful and extremely beneficial. So thequartering.com.
I'll tell you guys, I'm always telling Jeremy that we should put something behind the pay, like more stuff behind the paywall. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I just want people to have access to everything.
I know, I resist it, but I know it's really the best way to get people to sign up. But I've resisted paywalling content for years. So if you appreciate that, then join as a member, and you can DM directly with me. I play World of Warcraft, Jeremy. There you go. Get in the members group then. All right, let's talk about the Ilhan Omar thing. Apparently, Trump has now confirmed she's under criminal investigation. Neurodivergent pinned the link. Okay, great. Thank you. I mean, joining Rumble Premium helps us the exact same number of dollars. Rumble gets half, we get half. So if you join using my link there, Rumble's happy, I'm happy. If you don't want to do that or can't afford it, this other way is also helpful. I'm a member. Don't make me have to watch on Discord. I know, that's why Hannah Claire's like, Jeremy, you need to paywall more stuff. You're such a pussy. And I'm like,
I never talked to you like that.
Stop.
You take that back immediately.
I'm like, I don't want to paywall anything. She just, you have to paywall
this
stuff.
Like delicate balance where it's like, I love that people can just come and see and join. I feel you get to know more people. But then if you are a paying member, I want you to have something, you know, that feels like you're part of our club because you are.
Well, I've been spending more time in the Discord. Like I've been responding to people's DMs, and then I'm going to start
I'm going to make like an hour a week or something where like that's where
I need you in that new moms group. Yeah,
I know.
And the book,
I
surface
club. There when I have questions, and then I use it for my own good.
Yeah, well, you are a parasite, so
that's true.
Yeah, get in there, folks. I feel like Ilhan Omar's story is no different than just about any. The call-ins, I like the call-ins, but they weren't always the best content. So what I want to do is just do like maybe a monthly hangout. Maybe we can do that. And we'll have the co-hosts in there, and then we can just all talk together. Maybe that would be better. I found that when I started doing the call-ins, like viewership would drop off like crazy. No disrespect to the call-ins, because I always thought they were good, but it was just not the type of content people really wanted.
It changes the vibe of the show a little bit. I get that.
Yeah. Rocket says no call-ins because we all suck. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that. Are you going to play Burning Crusade? Saying it,
but yes, it. No, I'm just kidding. He would never.
I'm getting back in about 4 Burning Crusade, so that's why. So get in there, and we'll join. So I feel like Ilhan Omar's story is no different than basically every politician who's doesn't have a lot of net worth, but suddenly is worth 40, 50, 60, 70 million dollars, 500 million if you're Nancy Pelosi. Trump has confirmed that she is under criminal investigation.
Because of the fraud in Minnesota, or because of
her net worth. He tied it to she had no money when she came here. Now she's worth 40 million. So we're going to look into that. I get the nothing ever happens people. I hear you. I don't, I don't know that she'll ever be charged. Here's he said, I'm sending Tom home into Minnesota. He mentioned it in this thing this morning.
Yeah.
He said, here it is. Additionally, the Department of Justice and Congress are looking at Congresswoman, in quotes, Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth more than $44 million. Time will tell. I don't think they're going to arrest her. I think that these people are too good at hiding their fraud, but it sure would be funny. It would be funny. I mean, there's no question. I think one of the more for sure things we found is people definitely like there's money. Is that a cat meowing I hear? Oh, there's a cat right there.
That's the clingy cat.
There is definitely a line from the Somali fraud to political donations that I believe has been made. But I think that like denaturalizing and deporting Ilhan Omar would be fucking legendary. It would be
crazy. You would need so much support for that.
Yeah. I just think, Hucky, stay here, bud. I thought he would be able to.
Animals are like, this is craziness. Let me give you my slightly cynical take on what's going on with Ilhan Omar. I think that probably fraud, definitely good to look into, but she is such a poster child for what left-wing propagandists want in this country. A person of color, a lady of color, rising the ranks, serving community, being oppressed by Trump, every time Trump mentions her, she becomes like, she has a little bit more clout.
It's like AOC was.
Right. And so in some ways, like, just because I'm a little bit cynical on the efficacy of all judges in the U.S., I think there are there are quite a few bad actors who installed politically. It's hard for me to believe that even if the Trump administration is like, we're doing it, whatever, criminal charges or deportation or whatever punishment they think is appropriate, should they find, which I think they will, fraud, I think that there is the opposite force that will keep her in office because of what kind of like picture she paints in their minds. Hello, Huck. How are you feeling?
Well, he hasn't had any seizures since last week, so that's good. His ear doesn't look much better, but he goes in tomorrow for another look. But otherwise, he's thriving. He loves the snow. He's been out playing even when it was 50 below.
Refuse to come in the snow?
Yes. Yeah. The Heather's black one, the Onyx, she will really not come in. She'll be completely covered by the snow, and I call her and she like shakes off and she just appears kind of in the snow out there. I kind of agree. I think the Ilhan Omar prosecution will ultimately go nowhere, but mostly because every judge that would be responsible for actually bringing her to justice is, did anybody
this isn't right, but I think there are enough of them that would be like, I don't want that target on my back.
Yeah. There's a problem. Like it passed, like those people's arrests, by the way, passed like a fart in the wind. I think all of them have been released already. I think they got arrested and were released like the same day. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But the two black women that were arrested for the storming the church have already been released. I know that.
I think they've been released. They are facing
they're still facing charges.
Trial. Yeah. And that has a lot to do with the state and the type of crime, I think. I mean, like, what could we reasonably ask for? I don't think they're going to deport Ilhan Omar. No. That's like too big of a dream. But it's not impossible for me that she gets censured and faces some kind of punitive issue in Congress. Now, will that mean she has to leave Congress? I don't know. Probably not. I don't think it'll go that far.
No.
But she might get removed from whatever committee she's on, and that can kind of
hamstring
careers and votes. Like, what is a reasonable expectation? I don't again, I don't think she's getting deported, but there could be something.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. If she were removed, it would be a stain on the Democrats, which I think would be good. She is a nice punching bag for Trump because she's, a banana and rice person. Mm-hmm. And so he gets to tie them to the fraud, which is also why they're going after specifically Somalis in Maine, I believe, too. Soko Prepper says, for $20, thank you. For kitty kibble, you should feed your cats raw food, Hannah Claire. That's all I'm going to say about that. But...
my cat won't eat raw food.
Oh, you've tried it?
My cat that came from the wilderness outside who must have eaten like what, bark from a tree. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
confident
yeah.
she lived in a hollow log. She
Yeah.
will not eat wet food at all. No raw food, no wet food. She will only eat super cheap kibble. And I respect that about her.
I respect that. Yeah, yeah.
Like she's been through some stuff, and now she's gonna live off cat food McDonald's. And who am I? You know, who am I to correct her?
I've always said this. I've never spent more money on pet food than I do right now. And none of my pets have lived as long as when I could only afford the big bag of like McDonald's, like Iam's pet food. Mm-hmm. All those cats were fine. And now they eat like, you know, this free, that free, whole this, whole that. Mm-hmm. Like my German Shepherds eat raw food. They all have allergies. They're picky eaters. Force Name says, speaking of RPGs, is Final Fantasy 14 still running? Do I still play? Yes. And I just had to log in yesterday to make sure our free company house was still didn't get destroyed. So yeah, the quarter pounders are still there. Harryto says, look up what Eric Schwalm posted on X about Signalgate. It's wild. Okay, let me look. Ace tipped using Rumble Wallet. Very cool. Based. Thank you so much. McLeod says, this is Tim's Timu Red Guard. Yeah. Let's see. I think Honky Kong says, my P30L is standard 17 round, but accepts 20 rounders from a VP9. So I carry 2 extra 20s and 120 in the gun, and of course 1 round in the pipe. Exactly. Like if I carry, I always bring at least 1 extra mag. So this nonsense about, you know, he had so many bullets. It's literally the leftist talking point of, you know, it's a fully semi-automatic assault rifle. You know, that was embarrassing. Eric Schwalm says, is it this? No. Let's see what he posted. Let's see here. We talked about the Cash Patel thing. Is it this? As former Special Forces warrant officer with multiple rotations running counterinsurgency ops, both hunting insurgents and trying to separate them from sympathetic populations, I've seen organized resistance up close from Anbar to Helmand. This pattern is familiar. Spotters, cutouts, dead drops, disciplined comms, role specializations, and a willingness to absorb casualties while bleeding the stronger force slowly. What's unfolding in Minneapolis right now isn't protest. It's low-level insurgency infrastructure built by people who've clearly studied the playbook. Single group chats, 1,000 members cap per zone, dedicated roles, mobile chasers, plate checkers, logging vehicle data into shared databases, 24/7 dispatch nodes, vectoring assets, salute-style reporting, size, activity, location, unit, time, equipment on suspected federal vehicles, daily chat rotations, time deletions to frustrate forensic recovery, vetting processes for new joiners, mutual aid from sympathetic locals. Yeah, I mean, we should have this guy on the show. Yes. I'm going to give this guy a follow. Yeah, I mean, I think every bit of it looks like military. Sorry to go back. I guess we're kind of done on Ilhan. We agree. Yeah, you know, I'm all for embarrassing her. I'm all for doing due diligence to figure out where her 44 million came from. But I would also ask that we do to everybody else on, hey, Doc. Doc's like racing in here right now.
Do they know like I'm in there? Is Huck in there?
Yeah, Huck's in here, but he came zooming in here like he was called. But the furnace guy is also here, so he's probably like, I'm going to stay away from...
Danger, are you okay?
Yeah, he's like checking on me to make sure everything's okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing, you know...
Like I said, like, this is great work, and I hope that I would love to have this guy on. I think you have to break down very plainly and over again what type of coordination is going on here. And that's really the only... Hello. Mm-hmm. It's your cat. Your black cat heard my black cat.
Yeah, black cat supremacy.
Aww. But the only way to get the public who is, you know, and I don't hold this against people because so many people have so many things going on in their lives. They don't have the luxury that I feel like I have, which is to like be online and reading the news all the time because I do it professionally.
Yeah, you get paid to do it. Yeah.
I mean, it really feels like a luxury. I feel very lucky for this career and the things that I get to do. But therefore, if you have a random, I don't know, doctor who works in the ER who isn't constantly checking X or reading the news or whatever, who is like, oh, the signal gate? I don't know what that is. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, is that Pete Hegseth thing?
Right. I mean, when you see Signalgate, that's exactly what people are thinking. So,
well, and the media's not covering it. If you Google Signalgate, they shouldn't have called it Signalgate, because when you Google Signalgate, not one article.
It's Pete Hegseth. Yeah.
It's only Pete Hegseth that should. So there's a media blackout. Jeremy, Matt Bracken is the best guy to have on. Okay. Yeah.
Ooh. When the people say, like, I saw a headline that was like Cash Patel investigates Signalgate, and I think it came from a more conservative leaning outlet, like, immediately everyone else is going to think that has to do with the Pentagon, when it doesn't, which is like kind of a loss. The challenge, I think, is communicating what is going on to people who aren't conceptually aware of this at all.
Yeah, that really is. And that's, again, going back to, you have to show them, you can't tell them. Because when you see that PDF, if I printed that out, I would be like, holy crap, like, somebody, this is like a military document.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, there's no other way to really look like that. There's no really other way to categorize that. And well, what's going to end up happening is, somebody pointed out on Rumble, I think Joma did, wait till you find out Minneapolis was an inside job. Oh, I'm not going to be surprised one bit when we find out that, and monies were funneled into NGOs and then into these, Democrats. Drex says, Drex is unused Baldo. Says, I always carry 2 mags, one in the gun loaded with hollows, spare one a full metal jacket. Logic is, if whatever I'm shooting isn't down after 15 rounds, there's probably behind cover, so I don't waste hollow points. Yeah, I mean, it's the same argument, like, why people go with a double stack Glock versus a single stack. Like, I used to carry a 1911, but I could only have, I think, 8+1 or 9+1. I think it was 8+1. No, it might have been 9+1 with an extended mag. And I was like, that's not enough. If I'm in some sort of, self-defense situation, I forced myself to carry a Glock double stack. So I think that's 15+1 or 16+1. And then even an extra mag. So at any moment, I have at least 32, 34 rounds on me. Am I a terrorist? You know what I mean? Like, you have to, have an extra mag. What if your mag stops loading or feeding or something? Like, having an extra mag is just good practice. That's why I was really mad with Pam Blondie and Cash Patel. And what do you think? What do you make of Trump sending in Homan? Some people are pointing to that as like looks like Kristi Noem is not getting the job done there, and he may have said. It was the first thing
I thought of. I will say, it seemed like I'm thinking about the timeline. Like, she did that press conference that I didn't think was her most eloquent. I think, as you pointed out at the top of the show, probably presented, made arguments that were not necessarily, should have just stuck more to the facts than editorializing. And then today we have the Tom Homan rolling in. I think Kristi Noem has faced criticism for being kind of Homeland Security Barbie, like she's on the whatever. But there have been Homeland Security wins. Tom Homan has been criticized for not getting high enough deportation numbers. On the other hand, he is generally recognized as extremely effective. So he's
done great shutting down the border. It's just the deportation numbers,
it'll be interesting to me to see what he can do in Minnesota, because I'm not even totally sure, like,
how many are even left in Minnesota, by the way? You know what I mean? Like,
right. And what are the bandwidths of his authority? What options does he have? It'll be curious, but he is considered to be very effective. So, it'll depend. Now, it's not good for Trump to have multiple cabinet members who people are like, replace them. We already got Pam Bondi, who's in hot water. I don't know that you want to.
Cash is.
And that's all DOJ. So, like, I don't know that you would also want to be changing horse midstream in DHS. I don't know that Trump will want to replace Kristi Noem amid escalating tensions in Minnesota. We'll have to see how Tom Homan talks about this job and kind of what happens there.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of on the back end of the Daily Mail ran a headline that is not true. I know this is going to surprise a lot of people, but it looks like, so we know that Tim Walz, it looks like they're trying to de-escalate.
Mm-hmm.
Trump put out a very hey, Tim Walz called me. He wants to work together. I'm sending Tom Homan. He knows a lot of people there. He's going to, and like, there's this, Trump agrees to pull ICE agents out of Minnesota and allow cops to investigate. That's not true. What Trump actually said was he would consider it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's, if Minnesota gives up remember, Minnesota is one of these states that famously was holding back their food stamps audits. Mm-hmm. This was in the letter, that one of Pam Bondi's strongly worded letters. This says the president has privately expressed concerns about Homeland Security. Kristi Noem, and on Monday, he sidelined the mega loyalists, ordering Tom Homan to lead the ICE operation in Minnesota. He knows and likes many people there. Trump wrote on True Social, Tom is tough but fair. I don't know that this is necessarily a vote of non-confidence for Kristi Noem. This might be, he's a bigger name. Like, we need to send in a bigger name that can maybe, and Tom Homan reports directly to the president.
Right.
So like, he can authorize more stuff, and can get more, because I do think it's probably time. Look, my reaction initially is like, fuck that, double them, send more. But it might be like, I feel like the point has been made. Like, at what point, like, is another week of riots going to look better or worse for Republicans?
And does this sound crazy? Let me know. To a certain point, everyone who's on alert, who's anti-ICE, is active and outraging and on the message boards in Minnesota. And so if you're here illegally, you're probably on alert. There's tons of community organizations, churches
you're in deep
that are
hiding now.
Right,
Yep.
that are bringing foods to people who are saying, I can't leave my house because of ICE or so in some ways, unless you have a specific target, which ICE often does, like criminals that
they
are
do
here in the country
almost
illegally,
always. Yeah.
almost always, that you have to apprehend immediately. There's imminent threat, something like that. I could see like a strategic pullback from Minnesota being helpful.
And then come back later.
Then come
Let
back later.
shit cool off and come back in 3 months.
Right. Because it's like Minnesota is the only place something is going on in. And maybe it's good for other cities, like ICE operations in other cities, if all eyes are on Minnesota, because then you're not watching what's happening in, let's say, New Orleans or Louisville or in Maine or whatever. And it allows those officers to be really effective. I don't know what the resource distribution is like between both ICE and these activist networks. But I have to imagine that at some point it would benefit ICE to kind of change the script and maybe catch them off guard by going away temporarily and coming back.
There are positives and negatives, right? Because when the left is at its most violent, pulling out now would signal that the violence works, which you wouldn't want.
No.
The positive is, I tend to look at everything in life, rightfully or wrongfully, from a business perspective. And one of the things that should guide every small business owner and any large business owner is essentially the 80-20 rule. Mm-hmm. You can change the rule to define a lot of things, but, let's say in streaming, 80% of our revenue comes from the 20% of our viewers that will go and sign up on our website, which is true. Like, if we have, even right now that we're off the homepage on Rumble, right? We have maybe 10,000 people watching. We will probably never even get 20% of them to sign up as a member. But if 20% of people watching right now went to thequartering.com and joined, that would fund our entire show's salary. Like, that's the 20% you got to focus on when you're running a business. When you are talking about immigration, they've probably already got the 80% of illegals. So you have a point of diminishing returns now where you're really looking at the people that are deeply entrenched and stuff like that. So I am not wholesale. My initial reaction to pulling any kind of, by the way, the quote is not that he's agreed to pulling one out. It is the president agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota. What Trump probably said was, hey, get these retards off the streets and we won't need as many. That's what he probably said. And if that's true, let's say if Minnesota says, hey, we agree to use our local PD and to be more involved instead of handing out donuts and coffee, we'll use the Minnesota State Guard to protect, ICE operations. And Trump says, okay, well, if you're going to do that, then we don't need 5,000 Homeland Security people there. Like that, there is a way to pitch this where you're not backing out because of the violence.
Right.
If there is, because what's going to happen next is we're very close to a federal officer getting killed. One had a finger bit off yesterday. There's another video of somebody got his...
talking about the finger biting at all. I was thinking about this earlier when we were talking about how this is being covered in the Signalgate thing. Like, nary a mention of the bitten finger.
Yeah.
But everyone knows Alex Peretti's name.
Well, and there was a guy yesterday that got hit in the face and was bleeding from his face. And he was the only guy protecting, keeping this mob of violent people out of a hotel. So it's like, if... I don't actually believe Trump is considering pulling out any ICE officers. I think Trump knows that's going to look weak. I think he's just like, sure, I'll consider it. It's like,
well, he's the deal maker, right? Like,
right.
He's not going to rule anything out. He's not going to rule anything in or rule anything out. He's going to keep all options on the table. That's actually the only way to bring Tim Walz to the table. And the thing is, we learned from the JD Vance debate that Tim Walz responds best to affirmation and positivity. Yes. That was one of the rings like that JD Vance did so well. He just was nice and sort of charming.
About that. Yeah.
I'm sorry your son had to go through that,
Yeah. Like, I've made friends with school shooters.
and I'm not gonna say anything about it. JD Vance just walked past that one. He let all of us take care of it. I think in some ways Trump has to bring Tim Walz to the table for the safety of both the American citizens and the ICE agents involved.
Peretti was an RN at the VA who would had access to likely have access to sensitive information. Maybe that's what you mean. What would the odds be that Peretti would have tried to access medical records of ICE agents if they were vets? I mean, I think the odds are high. We had that moron RN in Florida who, did you see that?
Yes, but you should tell everyone just in case they haven't.
Yeah, so there's an RN in Florida who's like, well, I'm not going to do my job if you're conservative. And what's funny is Libs of TikTok then posted it, and that this guy,
right there,
he's like, I'm not going to perform anesthesia for any surgeries or procedures for MAGA. It's my right. Which actually, for an anesthesiologist, it might be, because they are independent contractors and they can choose to do a job or not. It's different than a surgeon in a hospital.
Sure.
They have to carry their own insurance and stuff like that. But obviously, this went mega viral, 113,000 likes. And he immediately was like, oh, my Facebook and Messenger and Instagram have been hacked. I never posted that. Even though he had dozens and dozens of make sure you're armed, Americans. Make sure you have plenty of ammunition in your home. Kristi Noem is a piece of shit. He's going to probably lose his license because it's Florida and Florida doesn't really fuck around. But
from what I know, anestheticians are actually in high demand. So if he left the state, he could probably get his license somewhere else.
Yeah. But bottom line is there are people in the medical world who have said this. We had a librarian in your neck of the woods in West Virginia who put out a TikTok over the weekend and said, hey, you mean to tell me there isn't somebody with terminal illness that can't take out Trump? She got arrested within 5 hours. I used to give these people, what do your guts say about this? Because I used to give these people the benefit of the doubt. What law did she technically break? I don't know. She was charged with making terroristic threats. Mm-hmm. And the First Amendment is a thing, but I have become a little more, I've lost the ability to give these people the benefit of the doubt, because we see how it starts and then we see how they act in the streets. What do you make of these people? This guy losing his job, I don't really care about it. The librarian in West Virginia getting arrested for making terroristic threats, it's a little different. It's the government coming in and saying, now you've committed a crime. I care less about it. It's more F around and find out.
I would assume the anesthesiologist should face some kind of professional repercussion, right?
Yeah.
Like you pointed out, I don't know what his contract is like with the hospital where he works, if he's a staff member there or a contractor, and that can make a big difference. But generally, I would assume a hospital is not going to be super excited about someone who is I'll only treat some patients. If they show me who they voted for, then I'll treat them.
We've seen this before too.
And also just in a purely like, strategic sense, separate from politics, hospitals don't have time for that. Like they need people to be doing their job. If someone needs an anesthesiologist, they can't really wait for it, at least, like that's been my experience. The librarian is interesting because it's always the free speech question, and my instinct is always to err on the side of all encompassing, allowing permissible free speech laws, but being like, is there a surely there's a sniper with a terminal illness out of all of these people, she is not. It's like an indirect threat. I think that it's not terrible if someone is like, hey, you can't do that. If it's local law enforcement being like, this was raising concerns with members of our community and we're here to ask you about your post, that doesn't seem completely unreasonable to me.
Yeah.
I don't think
there's a fine line.
And I don't think she should necessarily go to prison for 100,000 years.
No.
Now, the second thing I want to say about the librarian is because we now know that these activist organizations rely on small local affiliate groups, it goes from being like, she's just a random lady who knows what she's talking about, to being like, now everyone who's advocating stuff like that could potentially have links to more extreme people. And that's where the concern comes in.
Is she using access to government computers in the library to pull data or share information? Kelna says
to test how someone she knows would react for some nefarious reason. You know what I mean? Like if they're comfortable with it.
Kelna says the thing you're missing about Eric Martindale is anyone who has ever had a complication under him and is a registered Republican in Florida now has a valid case to sue him, so he's uninsurable. Great point. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And I would think that that's probably true. I think, wait, someone said you made this up. I don't know what you're talking about. The librarian? No, that's real. Fact.
I can send you a link to.
I got it in my bookmarks. Here she is right here. Yeah. She looked exactly like I thought she would, by the way. And she doesn't look so fucking happy now, does she?
I will say that. I like the skeleton cardigan.
That is cool.
Don't like the posts.
I don't love it in January. You should be wearing that in October.
A little spooky all the time.
Yeah. Looks like her eyes are red from crying. Her face is all red from crying. She's got the handcuffs on. Not so tough now, and I think that TikTok and Blue Sky, you have thousands of people posting stuff like this. Mm-hmm. And at some point you have to take these people seriously. Like you can't just keep saying, oh, it's free speech, because are they also in these signal groups? Are they also spending, are they, participating? Wait, mock dramatic TikTok videos from, oh yeah, these people who are going in restaurants, these are great too. Even male libs act like those corny theater kids.
Cassandra's had some really good videos up from Instagram, including people being like, we're not protesting, we're at war. I mean, I think one of the challenges, at least for me, is because I'm scared of China, I'm not on TikTok. But TikTok is its own ball game in a lot of ways, but definitely.
I make them, but I pay somebody to upload the videos.
Try to save your brain.
Yeah. By the way, again, current Minnesota State Representative Brad Tapke is in fact in charge of one of the sign-up sheets for Ice Watch on Sign Up Genius. You can see his name at the top as a creator. This is stuff that, when you're talking about state level politicians involving it, I think you could start using the word insurrection. I think you could start using the word treason.
Look, you and I have talked about the Insurrection Act, and it to me seems more and more like the time is coming. I wasn't ready to pull the trigger or to advocate for it, a week and a half ago, but the escalation is concerning, and the revelation of who is involved is something that we need to be cognizant of.
When we have state representatives in government participating, at least 3 now. It's claimed that we have the lieutenant governor. That hasn't been confirmed yet. But we have this guy, and then we also have another guy who was on video talking about, I forget his name, he's another Minnesota representative, talking about how he runs one of these ICE groups. Like, I think now is the time, probably, you send Tom home in there, you figure out, hey, if there are government officials actively participating in this shit, the time for conversation's over. It's Insurrection Act immediately. It's charging these people with treason. Hey, Ken, thank you for gifting 10 Rumble premium users. That's freaking awesome, dude. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think the time for talking is kind of over. They had that prison. That guy wasn't even ICE. He was a prison guard. Did you see that video last night? He's bleeding out of his face, and they're just like still yelling shit at him. This guy.
Sir, while you're giving messages, what would your message to the protesters that want you out be?
There's blood all over the ground too.
As long as you're giving comments, do you have any comments to the people that want you out?
Back up! Please, give me some room!
Man, I would hate to be this guy like there by myself.
He was there by himself. The police abandoned him.
Goodbye! Officer, I'm also a paramedic. You are bleeding. Can I help you? I'm fine. Are you sure? I'm fine.
I love that. The rider's like, I'm a paramedic too. Can I help you? If
Well,
you
how
can't,
would you trust them?
they
I'm a
threw a brick
paramedic
at
right
him.
now.
That's why he was bleeding. Somebody threw like a brick or a frozen block of ice at him in the face.
Probably the paramedic. I don't want to say anything like that, but you know what I mean? Like, you can't be like, I have harmed you. Now let me closer.
Yeah.
Like, trust me.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, look at his hands are covered in blood. And this is the guy back here who throws something at him. It looks like a brick or something. I hate when they super slow mo, the audio gets all fucked up, but like you can watch, this is the guy picking up. Here's, you see raised an arm. It looks like either a block of ice or a brick, and it hits him right in the face. Or a trash can lid, maybe.
It's like a can to me.
Yeah. And like this guy here, look how badly he's bleeding. Look at his hands. By the way, this isn't even an ICE officer.
Yeah.
He's from the Bureau of Prisons. And they're like, get out. We don't want you in our town. It's like, I think when you have ICE officers who are being abandoned, you're going to have a morale issue. And when they don't feel safe, then what happens? They're going to pull their gun a little bit sooner. And there's going to be more shootings. I mean,
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I think this is also a testament to the fact that like there are other people in this community who feel an obligation to maintain law and order and protect people. Like he's from the Bureau of Prisons. I don't totally know the circumstances of this video, but he was like, it's my job to make sure this place is secure. It reminds me of the Uvalde shooting when it was there were problems with cops not entering the building. And the initial reports from what I remember are that it was like Border Patrol officers who potentially had family members, like wives who taught at the school or children in the school who were like, we're going in. We can't stand here and do nothing. I mean, there are people who are trained to maintain law and order and protect people who will step in where needed. And I think that's where we forget that the rioters don't just control everything. Yeah.
I mean, and then he even says, like, someone's like, the press is like, do you have anything? He says, where is the local police? Like, he's just standing out here by himself.
Is everyone press?
We're overnight. We're all members of the press. We're all press here.
We're all press here. You
Except
don't
for the
know
paramedic?
that. Yeah.
Okay. This officer appears to be bleeding from the mouth. Oh my God. Are you okay?
And they're like, no, let me get in for a tight shot of that.
I'm fine.
Are you okay?
Unfortunately, like, that's sometimes how the press is. Which
Where's the local PD? That's my question for the press.
There you go. I mean, these people are getting fed up. Where the fuck are the cops?
Yeah.
Where's the local PD? I'm here bleeding out of my face, and you know, because rioters are throwing shit at me, and I can't defend myself.
Like, that's what this guy is like. It's a job he's taken on, but like, surely this is not how he assumed he would be spending his night.
Yeah, it's sad. I suspect we'll be back tomorrow at 2 Eastern. I do want to give you another chance to let people know where they can follow you and how they can support yourself before we kick it over to Viva here.
You can follow me on X or on Rumble, YouTube, and X, all three places. It's Hannah Claire B for my video content. It's usually some news, some cultural analysis. If we're having fun on Instagram, I'm HannahClaire.B there. And guys, come back tomorrow for Astrocast. It really is one of the 2 best days of the week.
It is a lot of fun. I'm definitely trying to, if you're watching on Rumble or wherever you're watching, please just make sure you follow the channel. It's absolutely free to do so. but also definitely trying to grow my Instagram. So if you are on Instagram, you can follow me. I'm The Quartering News, one word there. And thanks to everybody who is, our sponsor today is, of course, us. And if you're considering helping support the show, for the cost of a beer, you can support the show, and it really, really goes a long way. If you just go to thequartering.com/join or go to thequartering.com, and it keeps us on the air. It keeps the show free, and it's a beer. Or for
a latte,
Hannah Claire, it's
like me.
It's a latte, yeah, and it really does add up. So I'm hoping 10 of the 7,600 people still out there. Wow, thank you guys for watching today. What a great day for a show. What a great crowd. I really hope that after the show here, you'll just head over to thequartering.com, sign up, get into the members chat. You can talk to me directly. If you think I beg too much, I mean, I brought it up twice on the show, so maybe don't have a meltdown there, smirkyless. We put the show on. The show survives because of your support. So hopefully you'll go to the... You
guys don't support the show. I have to get another job. Like, big deal for some of us.
Yeah. So head on over to thequartering.com/join or thequartering.com and join us. It's $5 a month. It helps immensely. Or join Rumble Premium using my link in the description below. We get the exact same $5 either way. So both help the show. Go say hi. Hey, Wednesday Grace just gifted a membership over on YouTube. Thank you very much. Go say hi to Viva Fry, everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow at 2 Eastern. We'll be back with all the news.
Bye.